Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, good. All right, so welcome to Principles of Microeconomics Online. I'm Professor Ryan. A little bit about me. I may have already said this in the video, but I went to Palm Beach Atlantic University. I actually graduated when it was Palm Beach Atlantic College. Graduated in May of 2001, so 13 years ago. And then I went on and I got some more degrees, and I went back to teach full-time at PBA. And I taught in the Rinker School of Business full-time for 3 years, from 2004 to 2007. And then I left the area. My wife and I wanted to move away from South Florida, but when I left, they asked me to teach economics online. So I've actually been teaching these classes, microeconomics and macroeconomics, online for about 7 years, and I've gotten better at it. But I mean, I'm okay. I mean, I think I'm pretty good. I created the class myself, but I mean, still, it's an online class, so it lacks a lot of interaction that you could have face to face. But that's me. I live in Conyers, Georgia, which is just outside of Atlanta. It's east of Atlanta, and I am a high school math teacher. That's my full-time job. I teach math for a high school, and then I teach for Palm Beach Atlantic. I teach economics for PBA. So the fact that I'm in Atlanta means that I don't have office hours. You know, you can't come see me at the Rinker School of Business. I can't, we can't set up to meet even. I'm not even on campus one night a week like a lot of adjunct professors are. But we'll talk about how to communicate with me in just a little bit. All right, moving on here. And if you have a question at any time, just type it in the chat window, and if I don't notice that you had a question, then you can hit the little hand-raising button, which is next to the checkbox button. And when you hit the hand-raise button, it makes a noise, and then your name goes to the top of the list, so I know that somebody has a question. So here we go. When you log in to the class, the eCollege class, this is what you see, something like this. Yours may be a little bit different because I'm the professor, but this is pretty much what you see. And the very first thing, well, let's talk about some of this stuff. Well, mainly, we'll talk about email over here in just a minute. You're already familiar with the Live tab up here because that's how you got into this class. And we'll talk about Dropbox maybe in another month or so. Somebody just came in, didn't they? I saw the little pop-up box. Who was that? I'm going to find them. Was it Kylie? Let's see if it was. Yep, Kylie. Good. Okay, so you'll see how the class is organized. Over here, this is the main course home stuff, and then the lessons that you're going to go through are under weeks 1 and 2, then 3 and 4, 5 and 6, all the way up through 15 and 16. The way this class is organized is there's 8 main modules. This one, 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 this one. And each module, you get 2 weeks to get through the module. Okay, so basically, quizzes, you don't take one a week, you actually take one every 2 weeks. And on some of those modules, you also have an exam in addition to the quiz. Okay, so when you come in here, the first thing you should have done is read the thing that says "Read Me First." That makes sense because that's the first thing. 8 total, Cody. 8 quizzes, 1 per module. There's a weeks 1-2 quiz. There's a weeks 3-4 quiz, a 5-6 quiz, etc. Okay, you're welcome. Now, the first thing you should do is click Read Me First. Okay, and when you click on it, this is what it says. Even if you're not lost, it still says Help, I'm Lost. And something you may not notice is you have to go through 8 pages. There's page 1, there's page 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It gives you a brief introduction to eCollege. Okay, and then after the Read Me First, you're going to click. You should click on to view the course syllabus, and we're going to stay here for a few minutes. I recommend that you print this syllabus. The syllabus is an agreement between me and you. It is my promise that if you fulfill everything in the syllabus, that you will get a grade that reflects your performance. I can't tell you to do something that's not in the syllabus, because everything you're supposed to do is in the syllabus. And when I say I can't tell you, sometimes in the syllabus I'll leave something open-ended, to tell you later. But for the most part, my syllabus is set. You're only going to do the things that are in the syllabus. Now, with that being said, a lot of students don't read the syllabus. I'm not sure if they've ever read the syllabus, and so I can tell when a student has not read the syllabus because they'll ask me a question, and then I'll say to them, well, that's in the syllabus, so I don't have to answer that question for you. I've already answered it in the syllabus. So I recommend that you read the syllabus. It's not too terribly much. Mine's only about 4 pages long, maybe. It may only be like, I think it's 4 pages with the checklist. It might be 5 pages with the checklist. But I want to point out a few things here. First, this phone number, that is my cell phone number, okay? And I am okay with texting. So if you ever have something that you need to talk about, you have a question to ask me, I'm okay with you sending me a text. However, one of the things that I don't do that a lot of young people do is, probably because I'm not young, but anyway, something that a lot of young people do is they carry on conversations through text. You text your friend, hey, your friend texts back, how's it going? Is that what it's called, Snapchat? So yeah, you're like, you have this conversation over texting. I don't use texting for conversations. Basically, the way I use texting is like this. If you have to talk to me about something, you send me a text and you say, Professor Ryan, this is Camden. Okay? By the way, I don't know your phone number. So if you text me and don't tell me your name, I don't know who it is. And if you don't tell me your name, the next text you're going to get back is, who is this again? Or who is this? Or, what's your name? Or something like that. So please tell me your name when you text me so I know who I'm talking to. And you'll say, hi, Professor Ryan, this is Camden Baggs. I was just taking an exam and it kicked me out. Okay, so you had a technical problem or something. That's one of the few technical problems that I can fix. I can go into the computer and I can reset the quiz or the test, whatever. I can add more time. I can do those things. Okay. There are other technical issues I can't handle. It has to be the ecology people. But when if Camden were to send me that text, then be patient and wait. Because if I'm in the middle of teaching calculus at my full-time job, I might not be able to check my, if I'm in first period, I don't get lunch until the middle of third period. And, sorry, my brain just went blank. And I'm usually busy every single minute from 8 o'clock up until 11:50. Sometimes from 7:15 in the morning all the way up until 11:50. I don't have a moment to even look at my phone. So then maybe I look at my phone and I see the text. Then I'll probably text you back and say, I'll check into it in a couple hours, or hey, I'm going to check into it and you'll be okay in 5 minutes. But please don't expect to have a long conversation with me through texting. Just use it almost like voicemail. Send me a quick message to tell me what your problem is, and then I'll get back to you whenever I can. Okay. Email. I'm okay with the new email system in eCollege, but I don't really like it that much. Okay. I don't like the fact that I have to log into eCollege to get my email. So I'm going to talk about this email system a little later, but I want you to know that it's not the best way to get a hold of me. Okay? In fact, would you agree that when you have a problem with eCollege or with the economics class, you want to get a hold of me in a way that I will get your message as quickly as possible? Do you agree with that? That you want me to get this message as quickly as possible? Okay? All right? Good. Excellent. So several of you agree. You want me to get that message, right? You want me to get that message today if possible, not in 3 days and not in a week. Well, let me tell you how to get a hold of me in the same day. First of all, there's always sending me a text, but the best way is to send me an email at this email address. It's hard to see the underscore. It's professor_Ryan@live.com. And in fact, you may want to write it down on a piece of paper and tape it to, your desk or something. That is the best way to get a hold of me. Go into your email, the one that you use the most, and send me an email at that email address. I check that email about twice a day, and I will get your email probably that very same day, unless something crazy is going on, and then I'll be able to reply to you. But this email address over here, my PBA email, because I live in Atlanta, I have to remote into the PBA email system, and sometimes it's not reliable. So sometimes I don't get my PBA email for 3 or 4 days. So if you send me an email to my PBA email, you don't expect a response for several days. Okay, so that's that. My phone, texting is okay, and I prefer professor_Ryan@live.com. Okay, is that for me, Daniel, or is that for somebody else? Oh, okay, all right. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next slide. We're still on the syllabus, though. On the second page of the syllabus is a schedule. All 8 sections, it shows the dates, it shows the assignments. You'll see this class meeting right now, August 28th, 8:30 p.m. That's the one we're in right now. They're all scheduled. Here's the next ClassLive meeting. ClassLive meeting number 2 is on September 18th. If you scroll down, you'll see number 3. Over here in section 6, that's ClassLive meeting number 4 on November 13th. And you'll see in here, every one of them has a quiz. There's quiz 1, quiz 2. Every once in a while, on 2 of them, you'll see that there's a paper. Here's the syllabus eCollege quiz. That's the first thing that you have to do. Okay, so I highly recommend that you print out this course schedule, and then it'll have all your dates, and you'll know how to follow it. All right, if you go to down that page, I think this is at the bottom of that page, or it might be on the next page possibly. This is just a list, and I'm going to go to the next slide. This is slide 6. Here's slide, oh wait, no, I go to slide 8. Okay, on slide 8, there's the 5th thing. There's only 5 things you're really graded on, and they're all right here, and they tell you how much % it is. You're going to take, see, at the end of the semester, at the end of each unit, you'll take a graded exam. Yeah, there's 3 units, so there's three major exams, and then there's a final exam. So that's 4 exams altogether, and each one is 12.5% of your grade. So the 4 exams are 50% of your grade. And then every 2 weeks, you're going to have the lessons that you have to do, and then there's a quiz that goes with each one. Each quiz is 3.5% of your grade, so it's 8 quizzes. That's a total of 28%. Then you got to write 2 critical thinking papers, and I am dedicating an entire ClassLive session just to explaining in great detail how to write these 2 papers. Each paper is 1 page long, single-spaced, and each one is worth 6% of your grade. Those are the only papers you have to write. And I'll go over them in great detail. as a side note, this book is a great book. I love this book. I own this book. And it's a really good book that can help you write your critical thinking papers. Why? Because it's a book about critical thinking. By the way, I believe that this book is in the PBA library because when I was a professor there, I requested it to be purchased for the library. So you can probably find this book in the PBA library. Okay, and then the fifth thing is the 5 online meetings. Each of these ClassLive meetings is 2% of your grade for a total of 10%. And then right here, this will tell you how you get your grade. And I always, let me type this in, I always round up, okay? So if you have a 79.2, I'll round that up to an 80. If you have a 69.2, I'll round that up to a 70. Okay, always round up. All right, next slide here. Here we go. The syllabus is the final word in all issues regarding assignments and dates. Okay, so sometimes there will be something in e-college, a date that I didn't know was there and I didn't erase it. Always check the syllabus to find out what dates are for e-college, what dates are, for ClassLive, and then what the dates are for quizzes, and what the dates are for the papers. Let's see here. Okay. The next thing, if you also have to go through I recommend you look at you got to go through the Meet the Professor. It's about I think it's about a 3 or 4 minute video. Meet the class. There's a couple exercises that you can do, and then you interact with each other and say hi to each other, and I get to learn a little bit more about you as I read through those. ClassLive tells you a little bit about ClassLive, and then there's the performance map. The performance map is a list of all of the things that you are expected to know by the end of the semester. The way that this class was created was I sat down with a blank sheet of paper. I didn't take a textbook and frame the class around a textbook. I didn't get a bunch of PowerPoint presentations from the publisher and then just load them into eCollege. I created 36 performance standards. I wrote them personally. I didn't find them on the internet and copy and paste them. I didn't get them from a focus group. I went over 3 to 4 years, well, probably like 3 years of teaching economics, went through a textbook, thought about all my knowledge of economics, and I made a list of everything that I thought was essential as a principle, a basic foundation of microeconomics. And then I got rid of everything else. So there's a lot of junk in a lot of microeconomics classes that are not principles of microeconomics. I threw them out. This whole class focuses strictly on foundational concepts of microeconomics and nothing else. And I made this list. I made it into 3 units, Unit 1, Unit 2, and Unit 3. And in each unit, there's a list of standards, and I wrote these standards. And every one of them, if we go to the next slide, you'll see the first unit. Every one of them is something that you can read and ask yourself, do I know how to do that? So every one of them starts off with, students will identify and define the foundational concepts necessary for developing skills and understanding of microeconomics. The first standard in each of the units is always vocabulary, just terms and concepts. Then we have things like this. Students will define scarcity and identify examples of scarcity as it pertains to microeconomics. And so you can ask yourself, do I know what scarcity is? Can I define scarcity? Can I identify examples of scarcity? Students will distinguish among the 4 factors of production and be able to identify examples of each. So you could say to yourself, do I know the 4 factors of production? Hold up 4 fingers and count off the 4 factors. Oh yeah, I know them. Land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. I know the 4 factors of production. Okay? Can you identify examples? Yeah, land, that's like trees. Labor, that's like a person and their degree from college. Capital, a hammer, that's capital, or a lawnmower. Entrepreneurship, oh yeah, that's the person who brings all three of those other things together to make money. So 4 factors of production. So hopefully you get that. So you go through all these. If you read through all these standards, you could print up this, go home for Christmas, and when your parents say, what did you learn in microeconomics? You can take this list out and say, well, I learned how to distinguish among the 3 basic economic questions as they relate to microeconomics. And won't you sound smart at the Christmas dinner table? I actually had a student one time who said that his parents wanted him to come home and tell them what he was learning, and he wanted to be able to have a list of things he was learning. So that's not why I made this, but it's one thing you could do with the list. Okay, moving on. Here's Unit 2. You can read through those. Unit 2 is on market dynamics, like supply and demand, basically. Elasticity of supply, elasticity of demand. And then Unit 3 is on market structures. You've probably heard of monopoly. You've heard of perfect competition. There's also oligopoly and monopolistic competition. And that's what Unit 3 is about. After you go through the performance map, I recommend that you, well, I don't recommend, I insist that you read through the exam and quiz instructions. It is very important that you follow these instructions. If you do not want to have a headache over having taken a quiz for an hour and then you lost all your answers, please note in bold, you can see it right here, to avoid the loss of answered questions. This doesn't look like, I don't think I wrote that sentence. I usually use proper grammar, but maybe it is, maybe it isn't, I don't know. The bottom line is, click Save Answers frequently, okay, when you're taking a quiz, and read all of these instructions, especially the instructions for fill-in-the-blanks questions, okay, because the quizzes are very finicky about what you type in the blank, and if you don't type exactly what you're supposed to type, or like one of the 5 options, then it counts it wrong. And I made these instructions so that I don't have to go through everybody's quizzes and find out why they got a question wrong. Okay? Okay, moving on. So please read the exam. In fact, you may want to print them up and have them next to you while you're taking the quiz or while you're taking an exam so that you follow the instructions. All right, moving on here. So here's this. I face this problem. From time to time, students ask me to tell them what questions they got wrong on exams and what the correct answer should have been, which makes sense because it's a good way to learn. You know, you take a test, you get some questions wrong, the professor tells you what the answer should have been, and then you learn. But I have a problem in this class in that it is an online class, and not everybody takes the test at the same time. So I can't. And on top of that, I wrote probably about 3,000 different test questions when I created this course, and they're randomly generated when you take the quiz or when you take the quizzes and the exams. If I give out the answers to these questions, they will get out. Someone will create a file on the answers to Mr. Ryan's questions, and I can't do that. I can't give out the answers. What I can do is this. I can look at your quiz and try and find out what you don't understand, and then I can send you an email and say, hey, you didn't really understand the factors of production. You didn't really understand oligopoly, or you didn't really understand the difference between quantity supplied and change in quantity supplied and change in supply. And then you'll have something that you can go back to and study. But I can't simply give you the question and then give you the answer. Okay? All right, let's see here. Moving on. So after you go through the course home stuff, you're going to go into weeks 1 and 2, and you'll basically see this. It tells you what you're going to learn in weeks 1 and 2. It tells you the performance standards in weeks 1 and 2, and then it tells you what you're going to be assessed on. Okay. Now, when you click on weeks 1 and 2 the first time, all you see is the syllabus e-college quiz and the discussion. That's it. What I have done is I have set up what's called a path builder. It's a path that you have to succeed on certain things, or you have to do certain things before you can move on in the class. And one of the first things that you have to do, the very first thing when you come into weeks 1 and 2, is you have to take the syllabus e-college quiz. And if you score a 22 or higher, so it's 22 out of 25, or 25 questions, you have to get at least 22 of them right in order for all these other things to open up. So once you have succeeded in getting 22 points, all these other things will open up and you can see them. If you don't get a 22, they're going to stay locked, and you just have to keep retaking this quiz until you get a 22. Once it's open, you can go into week 1 assignments, that's this week, and look at all the things you're supposed to do. Then go into the week 2 assignments. You could read ahead, or you can wait until next week and go into the week 2 assignments and see all the things you have to do. But basically, this is everything you have to do. Every 2 weeks, you have to start with the warm-up. That'll get you ready for the lessons. Then go through the first lesson, then the second lesson, then the third lesson. These are like PowerPoints, and there's a recording. You'll hear my voice. I'll explain some economics concepts, and there'll be graphs, or there'll be words on the screen. You can even download, at the bottom of the screen when you open the lessons, there's a link to get a PDF of the PowerPoint slides. So if you're the kind of person that likes to have the PowerPoint slides printed out so you can take notes, well, you can do that on this. You just go to the bottom and click on print slides. After you're done with all 3 lessons, someone's typing something, so I'm ready for a question if you have one. You're going to go to the summary. The summary is usually, how do we know what pages to read? Oh, that's under week 1 assignments and week 2 assignments. In fact, let me move forward here. Let's see here. This is a syllabus e-college quiz. Here, welcome to week 1. This is week 1 assignments. Okay? You have to go through all these pages. Page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, or you can just click next. And on one of these pages, it tells you what the reading is. Okay? In the book, that is where do we start? Well, see, that's the thing. I did not frame this class around chapters in a book. So actually, when you do your lessons, the readings, I might say, hey, read pages 1.5 and 1.6, and then also read pages 3.7 and 3.8, and then go to chapter 20 and read pages 20-7 and 20-8. Okay? I give you specific things to read. I don't say read chapter 1. There might be once or twice I say read the whole chapter. But usually I tell you exactly what to read, because I don't want you to waste your time reading. And I want you to read things that go along with the lesson. All right, let's see here. Okay, good. Yeah, see, because I don't want you to read the whole chapter. You only need those 3 pages, and those 3 pages go along with the lessons from that particular week. So just don't read any more. I usually tell you what the name of the section is. I'll say, like, you know, go to page, start with supply and demand on page 3-2, and then stop at page 3-5 or something like that. So that's how you know what to read. But this class is mainly geared around my lessons, not around the book. But The book is a really good book. I think this is a great economics book. Even the author of this book, he left out a lot of fluff. He did not load this thing up with a whole lot of nonsense. He put mostly the principles in this textbook. By the way, it's the same textbook for macroeconomics, so that's nice too. Okay, so after you do the week 1 assignment, so after you do all these assignments, the summary. I think I was in the middle of talking about the summary. When you click on the summary here, let me go back a second, the slide. Here we go. When you click on summary, usually there's worksheets in there. And the questions on those worksheets are like the questions on the quiz. So one of the best ways to prepare for the quiz is by doing the worksheets in the summary. And in addition to having worksheets in there, I include a worksheet key which has all the answers to the worksheet. So if you're the kind of person that likes to go to the back of the book to see if you got a question right, then print up the key so that you can check your answers as you're doing the worksheet. It's all right there for you. I'm not hiding it from you. I want you to be able to see the answers if you need them for the worksheets. Now, you will not see ClassLive even though I can see it, because I don't want you to see that link. I think it's a useless link, so I just leave it out. You're also not going to see Ask the Professor, because I hate Ask the Professor. I would rather get an email from them. The other thing that you won't see is you won't see the progress report. The progress report will not open up until after you have taken the quiz. You don't have to get a high grade on the quiz. I mean, I hope you do, but you don't have to. If you got a really low grade on the quiz, after you submit the quiz, you'll see the progress report, and then doing the progress report will then allow you to move on to the next set of weeks. There's the quiz progress report. Once you do the progress report, it will unlock weeks 3 and 4. And then the same thing. You're going to have the assignments, the warm-up, the lessons, the summary, the discussions have a lot of really good questions. It's a video that really challenges your knowledge that you got in the lessons here. And then the vocabulary thing is really great. It's a crossword puzzle. And it is all of the terms and definitions that are on the quiz. So, and there's a matching section on the quiz. So if you do the crossword puzzle once or twice before you take the quiz, you should do great on the matching part. Okay? And then after you take quiz 2, the progress report will open up. You can do the progress report. It's like one question. And then you can move on to weeks 5 and 6, where you'll do the same thing, weeks 7 and 8, 9 and 10, 11, 12. There are, in weeks 5 and 6, I think there's an exam. And I think in weeks 11 and 12 there's an exam. And in weeks 15 and 16 there's 2 exams. So I think we're near the end here. We're on slide 21. Slide 22, okay, the email. I already told you I don't really like the email system. If you send me an email within eCollege, there's an option, a checkbox that says external. Please click that box and then send the email, because that tells me, it'll send me another email to one of my other boxes telling me to check my email in eCollege. But I don't really like it that much. So send me an email to Professor_Ryan. All right. Oh, here it is again. Please, please, please. When you're sending me an email, please email me at Professor_Ryan at live.com. Because I'll get it that same day, and within 24 hours I can email you back. Okay. Last slide. Let's see what's the last. Oh, 2 more slides. Okay. Lastly, you've seen this tab, the Live tab. If you right now, if you're somebody who is listening to this as a recorded session, the way you got here was you went under Session Archives and you clicked on the session, and over here under Session Leader it said Michael Ryan. You click on the date, it opens up, you view the session. take notes on the whole session and then email the notes to me, and then I can give you credit for the session. And that includes those of you who are here right now live. If you're going to miss a session, I don't care, really, as long as you view the recorded session and send me notes. It doesn't matter to me one way or the other. The nice thing about the live session is that you get to ask me questions, and that can be really helpful. Okay? Oh, this is slide 25. This is it. Well, that's it. I covered it all in, I don't know, 40 minutes or something. So now